In a world of horror, countless hours of cinema, what is truly terrifying? What will keep the kids up at night? What scene can never be unseen? Join us as we watch everything horror and discover the 13 degrees of screams.
Welcome to 13 Degrees of Screams.
We're your hosts, Stephanie.
And Alex.
And this week we hear how it all began in A Quiet Place, Day 1.
So, Stephanie.
Yeah.
We saw this movie together, so I don't have to ask you if you saw it before the podcast.
Right. It's proof that we actually saw the movie because we were physically present.
Yes, and it's brand new.
Mm-hmm.
Brand spanking new. We saw it yesterday, which was a Saturday. We're recording this virtually on Sunday, and you'll be hearing this Thursday. So,
yeah.
How did you like the movie?
I liked it a lot. I didn't hear good things about the sequel, so I wasn't sure what to expect. But I think it's kind of your typical, like, any sort of invasion zombie-ish movie, which are enjoyable most of the time as, like, even, like, a one-off experience. Except in this case, we just have, like, what happens in the future in mind as well. So,
yeah.
What did you think about it?
I liked it a lot. I can't believe you didn't see the second one. I wanted to talk about that real quick.
Okay. I don't know. I think I just watched a couple of reviews when it came out, and everyone made it seem like it wasn't as good as the first. There wasn't as much action and stuff. It was just them kind of shuffling around and hiding without many creature attacks. Just like... with the John Krasinski, this is how he shushes people in the original.
It's off to the side.
It's like up his nose. Like, I was like, I get it. It's serious.
He's just picking his nose, that's all. Well, I think you should go back and watch the sequel. I liked it quite a bit. Although, I only saw the first and second only one time, but I remember liking both of them.
Okay.
Couldn't quite tell you what happened in the second one, but I remember liking it, so.
All right. I know I really liked the first one. But I didn't know if it needed a sequel is the thing. It was just kind of one of those.
No.
It could have been a one-off moment and just everyone would have been like, yay, bravo for you. But then they were like, let's milk the cow a little further.
Oh, yeah. They're like, this did a good job. Let's do another.
Mm-hmm. Forever.
Forever. I will say that my problem with the second one, and spoiler in the sense of, I mean, it sets up a third one. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not completed, the story.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to kind of the Spider-Man movie, the Spider-Man movies Into the Spider-Verse or whatever, how the second one kind of is like ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, right.
That's how the second one ends too. So
okay. I mean, I guess the first one technically did, but you kind of saw what the train of thought was and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It kind of seemed like, well, now we have the technology where we can actually kill them. Now we just need to get it to someone that can do it like on a global level rather than just in our home.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we don't need to see that. We could connect the dots that, okay, now we're going to actually kill these things. Like,
yes.
Got it. We're good.
So then when they made a sequel, I was like, well, then they must have new information or something. But do they? I don't know. You have to tell me.
I don't want to tell you. I don't want to give it away. Okay. But anyways, we're talking about the prequel, Day 1. I have a question for you. How did you like it being set in New York City?
I think there was like a stark difference compared to it being set in the country. Like the first one, they're miles apart from anyone, so it's just very like quiet, almost like a farmstead or homestead or whatever you want to call it. And it's just the family that's the issue, or, you know, susceptible to make noise. But on like a city impact, especially a city like New York, there's so many people that even when people are gathered together purposefully being quiet, like just them shuffling together brings about that much noise. So I see now the impact of that. Like, it's not just the matter of like someone shouting or like something getting dropped and it being obvious that this is a loud sound. It's just like the murmur of people or shuffling. That was scary. That was probably one of the jump scenes that bothered me the most. I was like, oh no, it's happening. It's happening.
All it takes in a room full of people is like 3 farts.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh my God. You know, like the really loud ones?
Yeah, yeah.
SOL.
Right.
murdered a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, over a fart.
Over a toot.
Yes.
The toot killed me.
Oh no. That would be
toot.
the worst way to die.
Death by fart.
Death by fart.
That would happen.
But I do think New York is kind of played out for most movies. Most movies are, for some reason, set in New York, and I don't know why we can't branch out past it. Like, I get New York has everything, but try something else. Like, I'm bored.
Anything. I'm bored. Try something new.
Yeah. Entertain me. But what did you think about it?
Yeah, I'm over the city too. I think it would have been cooler. I guess the first two take place in the country-ish. So I think a suburban setting would have been cool.
Yeah. I think that would have been an interesting way to go. Or even not New York, but just somewhere else. Like try Seattle or something. Something different. I don't know. We all know, like, the landscape of New York so much based on how many films we've seen it in growing up. It's so played out.
So many buildings.
Yeah, so
everywhere.
I see all the buildings. They are beautiful. Thank you.
We get it. That's enough buildings.
Yes.
Are you ready to get into some movie background?
Yeah.
A Quiet Place Day One is a 2024 American apocalyptic horror film written and directed by Michael Sarnowski, based on a story he conceived with John Krasinski. It is the third installment in the A Quiet Place film series, serving as a spin-off and prequel. The film stars Lupita Nyong'o as a terminally ill woman during the beginning stages of an invasion in New York City by extraterrestrial creatures with an acute sense of hearing. Also, I wanted to mention, did you know that nurse guy who was like taking them all around was played by Alex Wolff?
No, what do we know him from?
He's the son in Hereditary.
Oh, he looks so much older.
Yeah, that was Alex Wolff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he looks like such a baby in Hereditary. So in comparison, I mean, I guess it's been, God, like probably 6 years since Hereditary came out?
Probably, something like that. Hold on, let's do a little fact checking, shall we? 2018, yeah, 6 years.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Look at you,
Look at
Stephanie.
me just knowing
Snaps
things.
for Steph.
Yeah.
She just knows so many things. And then I forget, do you like Stranger Things? Have you watched all of Stranger Things?
Not all. I've watched bits of the first season, but not
okay.
my favorite, no.
Oh, then never mind. The guy who played the British dude in Stranger Things, and I knew he looked familiar.
Okay. He did look familiar.
Let me see what else he is.
He has very sad eyes. Just like big sad eyes. Like, yeah, I think
Big
so.
sad.
I mean, he's handsome in a way, but also big sad eyes.
In a way. Like, if you squint and look to the left, he's kind of handsome.
Past the big sad eyes.
Past the big sad eyes. Joseph Quinn.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
He's also in Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
That's what it was. That's what I was thinking of.
I see.
But what's his character's name? Is he a minor character? Anyways, regardless, there are people in this movie that I didn't realize they were them until afterwards.
Yeah, fair.
I was like, that was Alex Wolff with a beard. Looks so old.
I was just so happy to see Lupita Nyong'o in something again. I love her. I love whatever she does.
As soon as I saw her name, I'm like, yes, it's going to be really good.
It's going to be so good.
So A Quiet Place Day 1 premiered at the Tribeca Festival on June 26th in 2024 and released in the United States by Paramount Pictures on June 28th, 2024. The film received generally positive reviews from critics and has grossed $98 million worldwide as of right now.
Damn.
Yeah, it's doing pretty good.
As of us recording this 3 days later or like 2 days later? Yeah.
1 day later. Well, I mean, I guess it came out Thursday, right?
Yeah, 28th.
JK.
So today's the 30th. So
you know, it's been a couple days.
Yes.
So far on Rotten Tomatoes, it has 84%, with the critical consensus stating, grounded in raw humanity by Lupita Nyong'o and Joseph Quinn. This sideways entry into A Quiet Place finds fresh notes of fright to play amongst the silence. And then it has a 73% audience score. Do you agree with that score?
Yeah, I think 84% is a little high, but the cast is really good. I will say that. I just think that this, like I said before, that this could be any sort of zombie movie. And I mean, I guess it's been a while since we've had one, but doesn't make it much different compared to like any other invasion or we're being attacked situation.
Yeah, I think that what separates it is just the performances and the human elements of it with Lupita's character. And
I think hers is a unique take compared to like what would this usually be, like one girl to be the final girl or something like that, or like a small family. So I mean, I guess that's the unique part about it, is it's someone that's terminally ill. Yeah, because you do wonder, like, what would you do in that situation? Like, if you're already going to die, like, are you going to really mess with this? Like, does it really matter? Like,
yeah. Get a couple days out of it, maybe.
Yeah.
You're just like, yeah, this is fine.
Are you ready to go into the plot?
Yes.
Sam is an understandably depressed, terminally ill hospice patient living in New York City with her service cat, Frodo. He is the cutest thing. He is the star of the show. He should have been on the posters, honestly.
Yeah, seriously. He should have been.
He's this cute little white and black moo cow cat. And
cat. Moo, moo, moo.
Moo. And you would think, you know, a service cat in this situation, what's he really got to bring to the table here? And I remember Charlie leaned over as soon as he came on screen and he was like, don't get attached. And I was like, too late.
I know. Yeah. I was like, this cat's going to bite it.
Yeah,
so soon.
I was waiting for like the collar to set off or something, or, you know, like the cats wear the jingle collars or something simple that is very cat-like and would just kill him. But
just something murdering him. Yes. Also, you think it would just meow? Like, I don't know, but this cat was not. Spoiler, I guess, but this cat was quiet.
This is probably the most chill cat to have in this situation. Granted, he does run off a couple of times, and I'm like, fucking cat. But I was like almost glad when he did, because I was like, I'd rather him run off and then like I don't see, so I don't know what happened to him. If he's going to die, you know, just leave it ambiguous. Right. But he keeps coming back. So then you're like, all right, prove me wrong. Maybe I do want a cat in this situation.
But also, it's just an emotional roller coaster every single time he runs off. You're like, no, please.
Right. Every time he ran off, like, I physically, like, gestured at the screen, like, no. Like,
what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yes. Yeah. I just thought about, like, my own cat. She would let me get killed in an instant. And she would meow for food and knock over things because it displeased her. And
she'd be like, aliens, she's over here.
Yes. And eventually I think she'd just become their overlord. Like, you know her.
100%.
Yeah. My cat has physically cornered Alex in a corner before, so.
Yeah. These aliens would be afraid of Artemis.
Yeah, they'd be like, well, like, this was unexpected, but I guess we could use, like, a captain or something to manage this.
Bow down to Artemis, our new leader.
Yes. She's encouraged by Nurse Reuben to write poetry and participate in group activities, but she makes him well aware that it's a waste of time. Hence the "this is shit" poem. Like,
that is the best poem.
Right. Like, this place is shit. Your shit. This man takes shits, like, in his pants. He shits his pants. Yeah.
As opposed to on the floor.
Right. And I'm like, wow. Just tell everyone how you feel.
I felt the emotion, though. So I was like, yes, this is a good poem.
It's very, like, burn it down. Like, I don't care.
Right. And then they all clap. Clap for her.
They're like, no, clap for her and her insults. Like, yay. One day, he convinces her to come along to a show in Manhattan with the rest of the group, and she agrees only on the condition that they get pizza in the city afterwards. So they travel by bus and attend a puppet show. The actor has a puppet floating with a balloon, but when it pops, Sam gets upset and goes to wait by the bus. What do you think that was, like, all the symbolism there, basically, of, like, experiencing joy and having what you want in life, but just to have it, like, taken away in a gasp or something? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah, because she was very much like, this fucking balloon, and, like, you know.
I know. Yeah, it was weird. That scene was kind of weird, because you're, like, watching this marionette, like, floating with a balloon, and it has, like, the most dramatic music playing, like, swelling orchestra. I'm like, wait, what is happening? Like, we're just watching this really kind of creepy marionette performance,
right? Because I was like, at first this wasn't the vibe, and then it was, like, turned into this beautiful thing, or at least that's what they wanted us to see. And also the puppet master of this marionette seems to be, like, on oxygen or something. He had a tube attached to him somehow. So I don't know if he was one of the hospice people or what, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Do you know how her father died? I don't recall.
She said that her father died the way she did. Or the way that she is going to or something. So I assume it's the same sort of cancer or close to it.
Okay. So yeah, maybe it was just kind of your thought that the joy just ending in a moment.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, but it was kind of weird.
Very dramatic. Yeah.
I'm like, what's happening?
A few minutes later, Ruben ushers the other patients onto the bus and tells Sam that they have to return to hospice right away because there's an unknown emergency happening in the city. Sam's like, yeah, okay. After pizza, though. They talk about pizza so much in this movie. Like, I'm like, do you have an ad going? Like,
no, but it's literally the driving force of this
right.
movie.
It's really pizza. About her getting pizza. It should be pizza and the cat should be the main poster.
Hugging each other.
Yeah, like the cat sitting next to a big box of pizza or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that really gets the motive across.
And don't get me wrong. Pizza's like my favorite food. Mm-hmm. But come on now.
Yeah. I think it was more or less like this is the last time. Like, it doesn't seem like they go into the city often or she doesn't want to. Mm-hmm. So then it's just like the one last time she can have it and then she can go, like then she'll be at peace or whatever that she did this. And that's mainly what this whole focus is on. Like, it seems ridiculous when you have the option to have pizza every other night and you know that, God willing, that you'll be fine. You're not like terminally ill where you only have so many months to live kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I think she's also at the extent of like what she was given to expect for life expectancy.
Yeah, because you mentioned, or I don't know if it's later in the movie, where... yeah, they gave her like a year or something, and then they gave her a couple months, and then she's like passing.
Yeah, because it like something about like coming down to hours to seconds or something like that. So it seems like at this point she's already gone past what they were expecting of her to make it.
I mean, get your pizza, girl. But at the same time, she's too calm. Mm-hmm. She's like, okay, yeah, things are going crazy, but pizza.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, because I don't know. I think it's just because it's such a insignificant thing to other people outside looking in that's why it seems so silly, because Charlie's like, she really did reference pizza a lot, and I'm like, I get it, but I also get why she is doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, just very intense drive for pizza.
I thought she was being sarcastic like later when she's like, I want to get pizza.
Yeah, I was
she was like literally going to
get
pizza. Like,
even
okay,
after
girl.
everything that happens, I'm like, that's probably not possible, right?
Right. Yeah, we'll get there. My thought when we get to that point, but yeah. Just know pizza is the main point of this movie.
The pizza movie.
The pizza movie, yes.
Sam argues that they can go right back after pizza, but Ruben refuses and tells her to go back on the bus. Suddenly, meteor-like objects start crashing into the city, destroying their bus, and in the smoke and confusion, people are getting picked off one by one by strange extraterrestrial creatures.
What could they be?
Ooh. They look like the thing from Stranger Things, honestly.
Oh, the
monster.
Demogorgon?
Yeah.
It's funny because in this movie, they kind of shroud it in mystery as if we don't know what they are already. Like, realistically, you should watch this one first and then the other ones, but like, I'm sure people seeing this movie saw the other two. Like, we know what they are.
Yeah. Like, why would you go to the prequel? Yeah. I mean, I guess you could because it's completely unrelated to everything else, but it is the weird one to start with.
It was not funny, but it was like, okay, I wonder what it could be.
Right.
It's just the creatures we saw from the other movies.
Just the cat doing shit.
It's actually Frodo.
Yeah, Frodo's like, let's get mom pizza. Let's go. Like, I destroyed this bus for her, so let's go.
Frodo, we need the bus to get to the pizza. That's not what you're supposed to do, kitty.
Cat's gonna cat.
He tried his best. What can I say?
So in the midst of chaos, Frodo runs off, the first of many times, and Sam is knocked unconscious. Sometime later, she wakes up and she's back in the theater with other survivors and Frodo. Like, Frodo just reappears all the time. I'm like, Frodo really is magic. And she's startled when she wakes up, but is signaled by a fellow survivor, Henry, to not make a sound, and she realizes the whole group is sitting in silence. I actually saw online, too, that Henry is in the sequel.
Yeah, I saw that
there's
too.
like a reference to see like him kind of transcend into that position in, I don't know, in the sequel. I don't know what exactly he's doing there, obviously.
I don't remember either. Yeah, I was looking it up, and he's like unnamed in the sequel, I believe. It said, like, in the article I was reading, it said like unnamed man.
I think they called him Island Man or something like that.
Oh! Yep, I know.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure what they were referencing, obviously, but I was like...
I want to tell you so bad now.
I mean, you can tell me. I don't care.
Okay. So
assuming everyone else has seen the sequel, just not me.
Yeah, if you didn't see the sequel, I'm going to ruin it a little bit. So towards the end of it, you find a community living on this island. Mm-hmm. And since they can't swim, they're living their life normally, like... Kind of like in The Walking Dead. You saw most of Walking Dead, right?
Yeah.
With Charlie. So you know how there's like communities like living and
like there's certain people that have just kind of like built walls around their own encampments, basically, and in a sense they are living a normal life.
Yeah, there's this whole like village community just going about their everyday life, not affected because it's an island. So these creatures can't reach them.
That is true. They do have hops though, so you would.
Oh no, you would have hops. I don't think they could jump. That far.
I don't know. Sometimes you see them like hop onto buildings and stuff. I'm like, you could reach it, like if you really wanted.
No, these are far islands.
Okay, got you.
These are not like 20 feet from mainland island.
Okay, got you.
But yeah, so okay, that makes sense. I think I remember him vaguely then.
Okay, makes sense. Overhead, they can hear announcements from military helicopters warning civilians to remain hidden and quiet. The irony to this maneuver is that the announcement triggers the creatures to follow them, which leads to further destruction as they plow through walls and shatter the roofs of buildings. I'm like, I know you can't communicate it any other way, but it's obviously like, what? You're just putting people in more danger. Like, send a telegram or something. I don't know.
A telegram.
Send a note.
Well, I feel like once they realized, they could like almost draw them out of the city by like flying overhead.
In a way, but I don't think they used it that way.
But they could have, is what I think,
they
right?
They could have. They probably should have done that and like led them to like Area 51. Just been like a loud like announcement to make them follow them into it. Because anytime there is like, even there's going to be a boat later on and stuff like that, any sort of noise, like they just go in packs to that sound. So technically, I'm like, you could clean this up in years.
Right.
Like, I don't think they should have gotten to the place where they are with the original. I don't know how many years it's been after that point.
Yeah, but I think there's just so many of them. Like, yeah, you could get it out of New York, maybe, but then what are you going to do with the rest of the world? So
I guess the same thing. Just everyone needs to take time.
Yeah, put them somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, take them all to Area 51. We all know what they're doing back there. Then they can study the life out of them. It'll be nice.
So the aliens that are currently in England, are they just going to like airlift them over into the United States?
Oh, well, put them on a boat.
Everyone, get your ticket out. All the aliens are
there's like, we followed a sound here. And
then they just Titanic it right into
there you go.
An iceberg.
There's the solution for the off-country ones.
Imagine a version of Titanic, but all the characters are just aliens.
Yes. I don't know what they do together in like a cluster. Really, like how do they chill? How do they
just stand around? Yeah. They got nothing to do.
Because I don't think they have eyes based on the whole like hearing thing. So
they don't.
Yeah, or if they do, it's bad. It's bad sight.
Bad sight.
But yeah, I would assume they'd attack each other though whenever they make noise, because that's not like they're quiet.
No, they communicate though. Remember, they click. So they do the clickies. They know each other. They're not going to attack each other.
Okay. That evening, Ruben and Sam join some of the other survivors on the roof as they look out at the ruin that is their city. Bombs are dropped on the bridges to prevent the creatures from leaving the island. This causes one of the survivors to panic, thinking that they are going to be left to die. And Henry accidentally kills him while trying to calm him down. And I'm like, that's fair. You did what you had to do. He was loud. He was loud.
He's like, we're all going to die. I'm like, how about you just die? And then,
like, I would be like, okay, if you're going to freak out, you're going to be freaking out alone. We're all going downstairs. Like,
yeah, kind of. Yeah. Just throw him off the...
I would just, like, push him back and be like, goodbye.
Yeah. You want to die so bad? There you go. Have fun.
Yeah. Which, like, I get the panic and stuff like that. Granted, I would be dead in 2 minutes as well. I drop things constantly. I have hiccups throughout the day sometimes. I would just be doomed. But I feel like I wouldn't be one of the ones that would just instantly, like, let's raise my voice. Let me be, like, the most loud in a situation where that doesn't call for it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So, yeah. I mean, I would get killed off some accidental way, but not being the most obvious jackass there.
Right.
Sam no longer wants to stay with the survivors. In her condition, she simply does not care about being rescued or somehow forging on. So she tells Ruben that she plans to go to Harlem for pizza. And Ruben's like, really?
Dude, just let her go.
Yeah.
Like, she just wants this pizza.
Right. He tries to reason with her when a backup generator starts making a lot of noise. So he goes to turn it off.
So dumb. This part is so
I was
stupid.
like, why would you get near anything making noise? Like, let it be. Let them attack the machine. They'll kill it.
Exactly. He's like rushing to this thing to stop it. It's already too late, my guy. So now you're just putting yourself into harm's way.
Right. I mean,
like,
I
I
guess
would have just like, oh.
Yeah, that's happening now, and just get the people that are inside away from that walk before they Kool-Aid Man in. But
Exactly.
but other than that, like, they're gonna kill the machine, and if everyone stays quiet, we good.
Yeah, that part really annoyed the hell out of me because I'm like, he did not have to.
He didn't have to do that. No,
you didn't have to do that. You would have survived. You idiot. That was a little stupid in my opinion, but
yeah,
maybe
I think it's just
not smart.
Yeah, it's just to separate them so she's on her own.
Because he was a different way.
I know he was looking after her, but I feel like he would have let her go. You know, like he understood what she wanted.
Right.
So
Pizza.
Yeah. Anyway, the noises summoned a creature, and he's killed instantly. Distraught, Sam takes Frodo and leaves for Harlem. Another military announcement is made that boats are preparing to evacuate people from the south side of the city, because apparently the creatures are unable to swim. Sam leads 2 children to the street that will meet up with the boat. Meanwhile, people start quietly making their way to the evacuation point, but since this is such a big city, the sheer volume of people shuffling along alerts the creatures who attack and cause a stampede. This bothered me the most. I was like, no, what are you doing? What are you doing?
There's so many people. And like, this part of the movie, I'm like, okay, where's the threshold for noise? Because like, just that many people just like breathing is loud. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
There's no way in hell that many people was not going to make any sort of noise. There's too many.
And like, they kind of like focus in on people, like one person's like in a wheelchair and it's kind of like making a slow, like rolling kind of sound, and somebody's like crying or something. Even like the smallest noises that you wouldn't pick up in your day to day is just enough when it's all brought together to trigger them. And I think they also did a caption at the very beginning of the movie that New York is always at like a 0.9 something, 90 or whatever, which is the equivalent of a constant scream.
Yeah.
So even when they got together and they were like, be quiet, not enough. Like,
not enough.
It wasn't good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Sam is nearly trapped under a car after a man screaming for help pulls at her ankle, and he's like, help me. And I'm like, well, what is she gonna do? What is she supposed to do?
Sir, why are you doing this?
Why
like,
are
if
you
need
yelling?
Help,
like,
shut up. You could help yourself by closing your mouth.
Right. Like, what am I supposed to do for you? Make you shut up?
Put your hand on my mouth. Please, I can't stop talking. I have this condition where I just keep screaming all the time and all these aliens are trying to kill me. You need to help me. What are you doing, sir?
Right. So then he gets pulled out from under the car, because obviously, and the creature kind of like landed on that part of the car and made it kind of collapse partially on her. So she's stuck, and I'm like, oh god, she broke her ankle or something. That's gonna suck. But she's able to eventually get out and flee in the opposite direction, although once again separated from Frodo. Frodo's like, nah, bitch, I'll catch up with you.
This is the second time this happened.
Yes. Elsewhere, Eric, an English law student, surfaces from a flooded subway entrance. I'm like, who the fuck are you? And I'm like, why are you under the water?
He was hiding.
Yeah, I guess so. He encounters Frodo and follows him back to Sam. She attempts to convince him to go to the evacuation point, but Eric is shell-shocked and follows Sam to her apartment, where she hopes to find medication for her pain. Despite telling him how she is simply going to get pizza in so many ways, even showing him her doctor's diagnosis, he wants to join her and help her find it. I'm like, good for you, man, I guess.
Yeah?
But after the pizza, there's an end to this. Yeah. I'm getting on the boat.
Right. Like
maybe not with everybody else at that time, because that was a bad choice. But if there's a chance, I'm going to go get on the boat.
Right. Like, I don't know. It was kind of, he just, man who doesn't know her, just decided, I want to follow you instead of like saving himself.
Yeah, he's like, oh, Lupita Nyong'o, here I am. Like, I love you. Like,
I love your work.
Yeah. And he just follows her. Like, I was like, that's devotion, I guess.
Yeah. So now we got this Eric guy. Mm-hmm. I feel like it almost would make more sense just to have Ruben follow her.
Yeah.
Than this random guy show up.
Yeah, but he just seemingly lost, basically. Even, I think he has anxiety, too. They kind of hint at that, like, every time he kind of thinks of going out, or even hears one of the creatures kind of like in the background, he kind of is like clutching his chest like he can't breathe, or, you know, find a way to calm himself where he's not freaking out, which, I mean, fair. I'd be there.
Right. Well, going to the boat would have been the better option for your anxiety.
Yes.
Instead of
that as well.
Following her. But okay, whatever you want to do, Eric.
Mm-hmm. So the pair enter the subway to avoid the creatures as they make their way to Harlem. And this is just like a clusterfuck of bad choices at this point. It's so echoey down there. And I guess they go down there because they kind of hear a creature coming towards them. So they just kind of duck down wherever they can. So they go into the subway system, but there's this creature coming from the top of the stairs. So they go down further and it's flooded towards one portion of it. And by the way, she has Frodo back now, too. So they get...
By the way.
Yeah, by the way. He just magically has turned back up. He brought Eric to her. And I don't know. Frodo's like, new daddy? Like, I brought you him. Like, is he daddy? Like,
is he daddy? I might be mother, but you are daddy.
Yes. So they decide to get into the water because they know that they can't swim. And that's like the best way, I guess, to cover up their movement. I don't know.
Really.
It seemed like a bad idea because he's like hyperventilating in the water and they have to hold the cat above them like on like a little baggie, which I'm like, there's no way this cat wouldn't freak out being dipped in water like this or drowning in a bag, which is kind of part of how it goes down.
I will say I did watch a video compilation of cats actually enjoying water. So it is possible.
Okay. I guess. They're just taking all the exceptions for this cat.
Right. This is just the best cat.
Yes. And they are kind of going down, and it seems like they're getting away from the one that was following them in. But there's one resting, like, right above them. It looks like they have, like, a flashlight, and they see one kind of, like, sleeping. And as they go further along, Eric is still having his panic attack, and he kind of does, like, a loud, like... It's just enough to set them off, and this thing is like crawling down the wall towards them, and they kind of have like these spidey arms, but just 4 legs, but they're long and spindly. So he's like crawling towards them, and I guess they get to a point where they kind of must have hit it like a dip in the subway or something like that, like where the stairs were or something, and they kind of slide down, and I think the creature kind of drowned itself. I'm not sure what happened. If something went into its face, or...
No, it just couldn't swim. They're so, like, dense. It just basically drowned. But, yeah, the water got so high that they were completely submerged, and the creature, like, shortly after tried to follow after them, but it just couldn't do the water.
Because it just kind of seemed like something either hit it, or it was just, like, too much, and it was like, no, dead.
I'm done. I'll die now. Goodbye.
And they end up making their way into a church. Like somehow, I guess maybe one of the creatures had already like plowed through under the subway and went into the bottom of a church. So then there was an opening for them to like climb up into. So they get into this church, and Sam's really weak because she hasn't had her meds to manage her pain. So Eric decides that he's going to go to the pharmacy to get her medication. And it was a really simple task, and they managed together. He went with Frodo. They seemed to like have a nice little buddy-buddy thing going while they get mommy's medicine. And then Frodo's like, oh, there's a tasty treat back here. I'm going to eat the tasty treat. And Eric's like, I'll come with you. And I was like, that was a mistake.
Yeah. Dude,
Frodo already knows to come back when he needs to and isn't worried about anything.
Right.
And you worry about everything, Eric. You can't go.
Frodo gives no fucks, and he's fine. So, like, just leave the cat.
Yeah, I was like, he'll just find his way back when he's done. You just need to go back to where you need to be.
Exactly.
And instead he crawls into, I'm guessing, a construction point or something. It just seems like there's, like, a lot of bars and beams holding stuff up. And it's literally lit red by, I don't know, alien goo, something.
Yeah, it's very weird. And it's like out of nowhere. It's like almost a nest kind of thing.
Yeah, because
like,
they're these little ball objects that the cat keeps licking, which I'm like, not for you.
Don't eat that.
But the cat's like, this is the tasty treat I came for. It's a specialty I found. I love this store.
It's very exotic.
And I thought they were eggs, but then they come up and they peel one open and start eating out of it. So I didn't know if it was like they've somehow farmed food or brought food. They all brought a snack.
Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't go explained, and they never talk about it. And Eric almost dies because he's just like right next to them, basically eating and trying not to be known. But yeah, next thing we know, we cut back and he's in the church giving her medicine and doesn't even mention what crazy thing he saw.
Yeah, it's like, that's fine.
Yeah,
no worries.
The aliens be aliens. Your cat loves alien egg thingies.
Yeah, it's just they're just eating. Like, what else is there to talk about, you know?
I guess not.
No problems.
Yeah. So he gets her this patch, I guess, that Nick said was fentanyl. And it's like a fast-acting patch that you put on your skin to help deal with the pain, and she seems to be better. And she tells him that her father used to play jazz music at a club in Harlem, and afterwards they would get pizza together at this pizza place called Patsy's. And that's the one thing that she wants to do before succumbing to her illness. And we're like, yes, we know.
Wait, what?
We were very clear on the pizza.
I didn't know that. What a turn of events.
And then they finally make it there, but Patsy's is completely destroyed, which we kind of saw coming because it's the end of the world scenario. I don't think they were still making pizzas today.
I know. I was saying during the movie, it's like, oh yeah, they're still open though. They're like still for business. And where you wanted to get a fresh pizza? Like,
yeah, they're like just quietly making pizza, like flipping the dough, like.
She's also operating that, there were some already made.
I guess
like a
so.
Couple day old pizza, which is fine. But what if there weren't any pizzas done? Like, we're gonna turn on the oven and make one? Like, what's going on here?
Right. Like, what was the goal?
Pizza.
Just pizza. No fucks, just pizza.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the logistics, so we'll figure that when we get there.
So it's completely burned. They can't even go in. And Sam is really upset. So Eric's like, let's go to the club where your dad used to play. And they do this cute little magic routine. Like, he plays with like a deck of cards and like makes her guess the card, and he has the right one that she guessed. And they put on like a little show for a pretend audience for just them. And they drink liquor that's been sitting in cups out. And then they drink more of the liquor that are in bottles. And I was like, that's the one you go to first. But okay. And he says to just like wait there a minute, and he goes out and finds another pizza place like on the corner, like one of those little dollar places, and brings back like a whole box full of day-old pizza. And he takes a marker and writes Patsy's on it and brings it to her, and she's like, wow, this is so nice. And then they eat it, and they both look like just okay. Just okay pizza, but it's pizza.
Yeah.
And they decide that they're going to try to escape together, so they go towards where the people are evacuating and see that there are boats kind of floating by with passengers in them. I don't know what the hope was there, that they'd flag them down or something, I guess.
Yeah.
But suddenly, I think Eric starts to have another panic attack or something like that, or they step on something triggers the creatures, and you can hear them kind of like bouncing along, coming towards them. So she gives him Frodo and tells him to run while she runs in the opposite direction, smashing car windows. And Eric makes a run for it, like very close to getting nabbed, and jumps into the water with Frodo, and the boat happens to see them, and Henry, the survivor we met earlier, pulls him up into the boat. And she also had given him her sweater at one point, which apparently was her father's. And there's a note written in it from her that tells her to take care of Frodo, don't let him get fat. And thanks him for reminding her to live. So then we cut to sometime later, and it looks like almost like a separate season, almost, because it looks like warmer out compared to how they were dressed previously.
Yeah, the sun, I think she was just away from the city a little bit more.
Maybe.
Because
like she just had been walking further out.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe. Anyway, sometime later, not clear. Sam walks into an empty street listening to Feeling Good by Nina Simone via earbuds attached to like a big iPod radio player.
It was like a docking station for like
yeah,
iPods.
and it had a little handle. So it was like almost like an old-fashioned boombox except with iPods.
Old-fashioned boombox.
Old-fashioned.
We're old.
Old-fashioned.
We're so old.
And standing in the middle of the street, Sam takes the ear jack out of the iPod and waits for a creature to arrive, which suddenly appears behind her. So it's just her giving in, I guess, that like it's time.
She could have made it on that boat if she really tried.
I think she could have, but
I think she was just like over it. She's like, this is fine.
Yeah. Like, what else was she going to do? It seems like she really loved the city, too. Like, it was all a part of, like, her and her father's bond. And I think that was part of it as well, like, not leaving the city. Because I don't think even hospice was technically in the city. She was like, we're going to go into the city for pizza. We'll eat pizza in the city. Like
pizza, remember? Pizza?
Yeah.
After the show, pizza?
Pizza in the city. In the city, not somewhere else. Pizza here. Like...
In the city.
Yeah, in the city.
that was
before we come back.
Yeah. So, yeah, she was probably just over. She was done.
Yeah, I think so.
Fair enough.
I mean, also, like, what was there really left for her, too? Like, going elsewhere, like, where it might be harder for her to find pain medication and her just living her life as a survivor and not such a great environment, you know?
Yeah.
Might as well just be like, I got my pizza, so I'm good.
Yeah. I don't blame her.
Yeah.
So, Stephanie, what did you have this movie rated?
I had this as an 8.
So did I.
Yeah, and I don't think it was like, ooh, I can't unsee this scary. I can't, like, get past, like, a gruesome death or whatever happens to people. But, like, the jump scares, they were really in it, you know? Just...
Yeah.
At one point, Charlie's like, you're hurting my hand. And I was like, I mean, I didn't realize. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fair. I honestly would probably almost bump it to the category below, a little scary, but I'll deal, but probably like 6. Because I feel like it's more like an action movie.
Yeah.
As opposed to like a horror movie.
Right.
And once you see the alien, it's not like scary. The only thing that's scary is, to your point, the jump scare. So I would actually probably put it down to 6.
Okay.
Because it was more action-y to me.
Okay. I'm going to do like a middle of the road 7, because I will say once you kind of get into the headspace and stuff, and this is part of the advertisement too, so I'm so easily subjectable, but the advertising that we saw in the theater was like, they can hear you chew or something like that. And as soon as we got into the meat of the story, like past her, you know, going into New York and everything, and when the creatures arrived, as soon as anyone made any sounds like eating, crinkling a bag or something like that, I was like, you're ruining it. Like,
yeah. At one point, during the most quiet part, someone behind us was just like...
Yeah, that's why I looked at you and I was like, for like 2 straight minutes, they're just rolling a bag or something. Like, this is the moment?
Yeah. There's so many other moments in this movie that are actually loud that you could be doing what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
But they did not. So yeah, it's not really, I honestly would almost not even categorize this movie as a horror, to be honest. It just seems more just like an action disaster film to me.
Yeah.
A post-apocalyptic type situation.
Only the something behind me thing is like only in reference to like if you were in that situation.
Oh,
like,
yeah. That's the thing. If I put myself in any of the situations of these movies, 13.
I'm scared. I'm real scared.
Like, I'm afraid living my life, let alone like something actually bad happening.
Yes.
So. But yeah, I would drop it down to a 6. It's scary. I mean, the creatures are freaky, for sure. They're fast and they're hard to kill.
Yes.
And if you see one, you're basically dead if you make a noise. So that's scary as hell.
Right.
But once you see them and kind of get over a first kill kind of a thing, outside of the jump scares, it's pretty much the same thing.
And the crazy thing is, too, like, how dumb they are without the sound, though, too. Like, they'll be, like, right next to you, pretty much, like, pressing their forehead to you. And if you're not making a sound, you'll be fine. It's a thing.
Unless, like, you know how sometimes your stomach makes a little gurgly noise?
That would also be me.
That'd be, like, I'd just be dead.
Yes. Like I said, I would die because I'd get hiccups or something. Just, too late.
For sure.
Too late for me. That's why I thought it was so crazy in the original that the couple kept having kids. Like, they had a new baby during the movie.
I feel like that was a whoopsie baby.
Yeah,
like,
I'm guessing.
Why would you ever choose to have a kid?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It must have been maybe because of limited resources for contraception, but also with, like, the crying of a baby and everything. Just getting past labor, because she does her best. Like, I don't know how she does it, honestly. No drugs.
No
She's
way.
just in a bathtub, doing it with sheer grit.
She's a woman, let me tell you.
Yeah, more a woman than me.
Yeah, no, but having a baby, forget it. Like, I always have in my mind, I think, like, if there's a zombie apocalypse, like, what am I going to do about my dog? Like, he's going to bark. Like, oh my God.
Yeah,
I have those thoughts.
That's true.
So,
yeah, just get like a muzzle or something, but that's not really appropriate for a baby. But
you gotta do what you gotta do in this world. So
I think they have like a box built that they put the baby in, and they're like, "You want to cry? Go ahead, baby. Bye-bye."
Go in this box.
Which is funny, but yeah, like, so they make workarounds for it. It's just an unneeded thing.
Yeah. Are you ready to dive into a little bit about the topic?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, actually, it's not more of a topic, it's more of a speculation and things I want to discuss with you about these aliens, because you don't get a whole lot of lore about them. They just kind of show up, you kind of get a sense of what they can and can't do, and
you just deal.
Yeah, you just deal with it. So I looked up an article called A Quiet Place's Monsters Explained, What Are Their Origins, Abilities, and Weaknesses, and this is from yahoo.com. So the first question that they asked is, how did they get here? So this initially said the theory, but I think it was also confirmed by John Krasinski. But it said the aliens in the first movie, they attached themselves to meteorites and rode the meteorites to Earth. They originated on a lightless world where they developed armor and great strength. These things were definitely more monstery than your typical spaceship piloting aliens. They don't use tools or wear clothes. It makes sense that they would hitch a ride on a space rocks and hop off when they landed on Earth. So
they just picked like a meteor shower and were like, this is our time, bitch.
Well, I guess, so I was reading into it. The lore was that their planet got blown up. And in the pieces, they survived it because they have such strong armor that they like latched on to the blown up planet.
Yeah.
And it made its way to Earth.
Okay,
so they kind of just like hung on for dear life.
Right. Yeah.
They just like made it to Earth.
Yeah, because I guess they are kind of impervious unless you get them right in their little mouth hole thing with like an ear thing. Like the hearing aids like the girl uses in the original.
Yeah.
Like something with a frequency to set them off.
Right.
But I think then she shot him in the mouth, right? Didn't the mom shoot it in the mouth when it like opened everything up?
Yeah.
Because it was trying to, I don't know, rebalance itself somehow.
Yeah, I think it was, I don't know what it was doing. But yeah, it has this armor that's basically like you can't penetrate it. So its planet was blown up, which leads me to the question, how did their planet blow up? Was it another alien race? Or like, why would their planet have blown up? Just out of nowhere. So that makes some more questions.
Right. Yeah. Or like maybe it was like a meteor situation and then, you know, their planet was so small, it just boop. And just booped into a bunch of pieces and they were like, we can all go this way.
Yeah. So one of the things we also kind of questioned after the movie was their intelligence level. And it has been confirmed that they're very much just animalistic and they only react on instinct.
Yeah.
And that leads to the question of, so they just kill to kill because we find out they don't eat people.
Right.
So my question to you is, what do you think it is that they're actually eating then in the movie? Like, what would you speculate these things are?
They're eating the eggy things as far as I don't know where they're getting them from. Like, I don't like, maybe it's like a weird, like they create them just to eat them something like because there's so many of them. Maybe it's not like a reproduction thing. It's just like, this is what we do. I don't know. You would think that they were eating people based on how often, but it seems like maybe their world is completely quiet and stuff like that since it's lightless and everything like that too, that they just hate anything that's disrupting that. So that's why they go and attack it, because it's like a threat to them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. just a threat. But I'm so curious about the food because like you see them kill people but never do anything with them. So I don't know. I wonder if they'll explore that in the third movie.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like they were trying to get at something. It just felt weird that they never mentioned it again or tried to explain it further. They just made it more weird.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, maybe that is another sequel that they're going to do. The prequel sequel.
A sequel to the prequel before the third.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, I could see them doing that.
So that was the kind of talk about their intelligence. Fun fact. So it's not canon, I guess, but these creatures are called death angels.
Oh. By who?
So in the first or second movie, I can't remember which one, there's like a snippet on the wall or like someone wrote out the word death angel. Mm-hmm. So the community, fans of the movie have dubbed them death angels.
Oh, interesting. I wouldn't call them that, but okay.
That's fair.
I feel like spider aliens or something.
Spider aliens. I mean, they came down from the sky like angels.
I guess so. They hated it.
But the nickname that the special effects makers from Industrial Light and Magic, they called them Happy. Just Happy.
As a name?
Yeah, that's a blanket name for the creatures. Or they just call it the creature, but unofficially Death Angels.
Happy.
Stephanie does not compute.
I don't think these creatures kind of experience joy, so it's a weird one.
Yeah,
to think about.
I think it's just a silly nickname they gave them.
Yeah, okay.
I did want to mention, so one comment on Reddit, a theory by Captain T-Bird. Now, it kind of contradicts if their planet had blown up and they kind of just hit stride on a meteorite.
Yeah.
Kind of doesn't fit with this theory, but it's interesting to ponder.
Okay.
So this Captain T-Bird wrote, "My idea is that they are created by some aliens. They send them ahead, have them kill all the life on the planet, so when they arrive, there's no resistance. I think the weakness to the sound was intentional, so when aliens who created them arrive, they have an easy way to control them." So his theory is a smarter race created these things, send them to the other planet, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
As kind of like their first defense and just...
And then they come down to populate the planet, and then if these aliens aren't controllable, they could just use a frequency to kill them.
Yeah, okay. I could see that because of the whole frequency issue in the first movie, too. It seems that, yeah, as soon as a certain frequency goes off, they're kind of like paralyzed to that. So I feel like that would make them very malleable to something that's more intelligent.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case, and I think it's just fun to speculate on. But would you like it to go that route if that was the case?
I don't know. Like, again, this is like another issue with, do we need a sequel? Like, do we need everything explained? You know, like, sometimes I think it's better just to speculate rather than to have all the answers. So
yeah.
I am curious about the egg things and like how they get them. Like, is this something they brought from home? Like they lunched it?
Right.
Or if this is something they're making? Like, that's the curious thing. But otherwise, like, I don't know if I need to see origin or, you know, I feel like it's supposed to be deeper than that.
Yeah, I like it just being what John Krasinski said. It just blew up and they made it here, like, by happenstance, really. It was an accident. I like that idea, but it is interesting just to kind of talk about potential things. Because once you get into that territory, you're like, okay, now we're talking about intelligent aliens, and that's a little silly.
And like, how much further are you going to go? Are you going to say that the intelligent aliens now have aliens that make them think that they're smart?
Right. Who knows?
Yeah.
But there was just some things that I wanted to speculate on and talk about the aliens with.
Yeah. I will say, though, if they're going to go full throttle into another sequel after all of this, that, like, show me defeating the aliens. Show me, like, learning your lesson, but reverting back to normalcy. And stuff like that. That's what I want to see. I don't know if I need to see more people get attacked by aliens, essentially. We know all the bits.
There is a third one coming out. So hopefully they kind of just wrap up the trilogy. Technically, like, the day one is obviously a prequel, separate movie. So maybe they just keep it a sequel, finish that off, and let's not milk this more than it's worth. Because I can see this very easily
becoming like Quiet Place 8.
Yeah, too repetitive. Quiet
Yeah.
Place, aliens in space, which would make sense, but
Yeah.
oh, they go back in time in this one. Like, don't.
We actually go
to
to day 32 because day 32 was very significant. So like,
yeah. Quiet. They just do a day 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
yes,
whatever.
exactly. Day 365. Like,
Yeah, I think I like these movies because the concept is so simplistic. It's like alien can't make a sound. Call it a day. Like that's all you need. It's enough to drive a plot, in my opinion.
yes. Wasn't it ironic though that the original came out around the same time Bird Box came out on Netflix? But I thought Bird Box was the older book, technically. Like John Krasinski wrote Quiet Place after Bird Box had already been like a thing, basically, except it just somehow beat them in production.
Well, Bird Box was a book, so I don't know how old the book is. So maybe he had read the book.
Maybe.
It's like reverse. It's eyeballs as opposed to ears.
You can't see. Can't see him.
Yeah. Can't see him.
Can't see him.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoy the show and listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, giving us a 5-star rating is super helpful, and we will always appreciate it.
You can find us on social media using 13 Degrees of Screams.
This has been 13 Degrees of Screams, and we will see you next week.
And I'm feeling good. But better.
Beautiful.
Thank you.